Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and welcome back to War Thunder with Koala. And today, you couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, Gaijin? You just had to get all our hopes up that you were giving Britain something nice and powerful after shafting them for months, and then you go ahead and release the Tiger. Yes, that is right, lads and ladies, Britain will not be the first ever nation in War Thunder to actually receive a top rank premium, although only because Gaijin's been nice and crafty with the premium jets. But update 1.91 will also bring with it the first rank 7 attack helicopters in the form of the Eurocopter EC665 Tiger. What an absolutely badass looking machine. This will be the first of the rank 7 helicopters in War Thunder and will be coming in 3 different variants this patch. Our main French variant is the Tiger HAD, which will make up France's rank 7, something I am extremely excited for, as I love my Series 1 Leclerc. The German variant, the EC665 UHT, will have its noticeable differences from the French counterpart. By the way, the T in UHT stands for Tiger, so if Gaijin could stop calling it Tiger UHT, that'd be grand. Its full name is... oh my god, that is an enormous word. What the fuck, German? Alright, here we go. I'll put it up on the screen. Unterstützungshubschrauber Tiger. Or Support Helicopter Tiger. Jesus. The third variant we'll receive is a French premium rank 6 variant of the Tiger, the HAP, which will match up nicely to the British G-Lynx and can be pre-ordered, although as always, I suggest waiting until the dev server. The Eurocopter Tiger, or Tigre as it's known in French, began development back in 1984 as a multi-role battlefield helicopter with an all-composite construction. It was a joint venture between the French Aerospatiale company, the people behind the Alouette and Gazelle, and German conglomerate Messerschmitt Bölkow Blohm, or MBB, who created the BO-105. The idea was to produce an equivalent to the AH-64 Apache, but by 1986, the projected cost had risen to the point where the program was effectively cancelled. It was then relaunched with some new provisions and new specifications in 1987, and it was during this time that emphasis was placed on the Tiger's combat and specifically anti-tank capabilities. The first prototypes flew in 1991, and orders were placed for 160 helicopters in 1999, with the first production Tigers being ready in 2002 to enter service in 2005. This is one of our most modern vehicles in War Thunder, up there with the AH-1Z Viper and Mi-35M, both of which I believe will also be raised up to rank 7 in 1.91, especially if the Hind E receives the Igla air-to-air missiles. Besides France and Germany, only 2 other nations, Spain and Australia, have ever used the Tiger, although Britain, the Netherlands, India, South Korea and Turkey all expressed interest. All of these nations, however, have since pulled out of negotiations or selected competing contemporary helicopters such as the Boeing AH-64 Apache or Bell AH-1Z Viper. Australia will be the first nation to replace their Tiger ARH, as the Tiger has garnered an extremely negative reputation for being unable to cope with heat and dust, 2 things Australia has no shortage of, and the same can be said for the Middle East, one of the main theatres of operation for these machines. Actually, in a 2016 report by the Australian National Audit Office, there were an additional 76 deficiencies to the Tiger ARH, including a lack of compatibility with the Royal Australian Navy's Canberra-class LHDs. The 2 main competitors for the replacement of the Eurocopter Tiger for the Australian Defence Force are the AH-1Z Viper and AH-64E Apache. Now, I know I'm bringing up the ADF a lot, and that is partly because I'm quite close to it. I've been around these helicopters in ADF servers, I've seen them going up, and I've even had a look around their cockpits. I do really love them, especially the look of them, and they are of course highly capable war machines, anybody knows that. However, I do want to draw attention to the fact that, given the superiority of platforms like the Apache, I think it's more than fair that we see this helicopter begin our forays in War Thunder into rank 7 combat helicopters with the Apache and, for example, the Russian Mi-28 Havoc, although they may not be inherently superior in-game, coming later on in future updates. This is similar to how the Furitaka remains, for the moment, our only heavy cruiser, even though a Pensacola could easily fit in-game, due to the Furitaka's inferiority when compared to other ships of its type. I know it may irritate some fans of German or French military tech for me to downgrade the Eurocopter Tiger in this way, and I do want to say that many of the difficulties faced by the Tiger in real life, such as its inability to cope with hot and dusty conditions, or lack of compatibility with other systems, won't be felt in War Thunder, which should help it to be on par with something like an AH-64A or Mi-28. But unfortunately for it, although the Tiger may be a fantastic platform in its European homeland, it cannot match up to its contemporaries in a theatre like the Middle East. So what about its actual usefulness in War Thunder, because those difficulties will not be reflected. All these helicopters feature composite protection, which gives them armour enough to stand up to machine gun fire. This is going to be extremely useful for those close quarters engagements. The coaxial or top mounted MGs of main battle tanks will really have a tough time downing one of these helicopters. You may also be able to withstand some small autocannon fire at range, such as the 20mm of the Leopard 2K, AMX-40, etc. The Russian helicopters fitted with 12.7mm machine guns will also have a very difficult time doing damage to you, as will the American 7.62mm miniguns, making these arguably the best options for use in helicopter and during confrontations. You'll likely have a better chance of surviving explosions as well, and this is going to make a noticeable difference against air-to-air missiles and SAMs, which will have to detonate far closer to you in order to deal critical damage. The composite body also makes these helicopters lightweight, and so the manoeuvrability of the Tiger is going to be pretty great, rivaling the Cobras, Gazelles, BO-105s, or the British Lynx models. The Tiger's speed, however, isn't fantastic. In fact, it's not very good at all, at only 290 km per hour. But what about weaponry, because that's where the differences between these helicopters actually stands out. Let's start with the French premium, the Tiger HAP, which is the support and escort variant of this helicopter. This model is fitted with a chin-mounted 30mm gun turret similar to that found on the Apache, along with 68mm unguided rocket pods, 8 Hot 3 ATGMs, which are tandem warheads similar to TOW-2s and actually have higher penetration, and 4 Mistral air-to-air missiles, exactly the same as we see on the last model of the French Gazelle, the SA-342M. This is available as a pre-order for $50 and that pack will also net you 2,000 Golden Eagles and 2 weeks of premium time, as well as a decal, which to be honest looks like it was ripped straight out of World of Warships, and the unique title GoldenEye, a reference to the James Bond movie of that name, which featured these helicopters. It's also available in a bundle with the AMX-30 Super for 30% off, which if you haven't got and you're looking for a French grinding machine, I highly suggest looking at this bundle. That's 4,000 GE and 30 days of premium account time, along with these two insanely well-performing top-end vehicles, all for less than $80. Factor out the GE and premium account time and both of these vehicles are costing you only $45. Yeah, you can't say Gaijin doesn't do anything for us. If you do already have the AMX-30 Premium, don't worry because you can still get 30% off the Tiger HAP pack by buying it in this bundle. The cost of the AMX-30 pack will be deducted from the total if you already own it. It is worth noting, however, that this particular Tiger model won't be as good for ground battles as the British G-Lynx, as it does not carry Hellfires. Given its increased protection, however, and the 30mm gun turret, it will beat the G-Lynx in helicopter and during confrontation battles. The Rank 7 French Tech Tree variant, the Tiger HAD, features exactly the same armament, but also includes the ability to carry 8 Hellfire missiles, just as the British Lynx models do. So what we have here is a more air-to-air focused equivalent to the Lynx, and due to the fact that as a grinding helicopter you want an air-to-air focused machine because you'll grind much faster in Heli EC, the British Premium and Rank 6 Tech Tree helicopter, the Lynx AH-1, are going to get Hellfires, even though the French don't get them until Rank 7. This also means that the Tigers will not be equal to the AH-1Z Viper or Mi-35M, as those two machines will remain the only helicopters capable of carrying 16 air-to-ground missiles, which makes an enormous difference. The Tigers, however, will be far superior to potentially any other helicopter in the air-to-air role, and that really is where these machines shine, at least in a War Thunder sense. You want to be outfitting these for air-to-air combat. The German EC-665 UHT will be Germany's first Rank 7 helicopter, and features some noticeable differences over its French counterparts. Firstly, the UHT ditches the 30mm gun turret for the ability to mount 12.7mm machine gun pods, which can be seen already in-game on the BO-105s. We also switch out the Mistral missiles for 4 AIM-92 Stingers, and in place of Hellfires, the German Tiger will use the Pars 3 LR missile, which is a 3rd generation long-range anti-tank missile developed in 2011. This missile in real life is absolutely insane, similar to the longbow variant of the Hellfire with its fire and forget capability, or the British designed Brimstone. It has a range of 7 km and, like the Hellfires, can be fired in a top attack pattern, and it uses a tandem warhead capable of penetrating over 1000mm of armour even after going through some ERA. The EC665 UHT carries up to 8 of these missiles in pods of 4, and interestingly, none of the images on the dev blog actually showed the German Tiger with this armament. In War Thunder, these missiles will be heavily nerfed compared to what they're capable of in real life, and rightfully so. This thing only entered service in 2012 after all. Until we receive an Apache longbow with either AGM-114L Hellfires or the British variant with its Brimstones, the German Pars 3 LR should not have that level of capability. This missile is superior to the AGM-114L in that it has a higher penetration, and is equal to the British Brimstone, although with a much greater explosive mass. It does, however, lose out to both of these aforementioned missiles in range, and they also have superior locking, given that they're guided by a millimetric wave radar rather than the Pars 3's infrared system. In War Thunder, these missiles will, for the time being, function effectively like the Hellfires we already have, needing to be manually guided rather than fire and forget. They'll also not have any volley firing capability, something that they do IRL, although with only half the missiles of the Viper, I don't really see a need to deny the Tiger this capability. This manual guidance mode though is historically accurate. The missiles can be used this way in real life, and limiting them to only this mode in War Thunder will keep the helicopter balanced with its competition. Or will it? See, with 8 missiles that are, for all intents and purposes, Hellfires, and no 30mm gun turret, only machine gun pods, which you have to sacrifice your AGMs to carry, as well as having a subpar speed comparable to Huey's, this helicopter will likely be inferior to the British G-Lynx, which can go 100 km/h faster, carries the same number of equally effective missiles, same number of Stingers, and can mount 20mm gun pods, although the Lynx sacrifices its Stingers for gun pods rather than its ground-based ordnance. The Tiger does also beat out the Lynx in its protection, but I'm not so certain that I see this particular model being much more effective than the British Rank 6 helis overall, at least in ground battles. The Tigers are more focused on the air-to-air role, which this particular variant will barely be any improvement over the Lynx in due to not having a turret. Once we have some contemporary weapon systems like later Hellfires or Brimstones, and the Pars 3 LR missile can be given the capabilities it has historically, the EC665 UHT will fit in much more noticeably in Rank 7, but at the moment, I see no real separation between Rank 6 with the Lynx and Rank 7 with this machine. Nonetheless, they are going to be fiercely effective helicopters for ground battles, and especially Heli EC, and I cannot wait to use them. Hopefully this signals the upcoming arrival of helicopters like the AH-64A Apache and Mi-28 Havoc, with the AH-64D Apache Longbow and Ka-50 Blackshark or Ka-52 Alligator coming much later down the line, but for now with the Viper and Hind E, Russia and America are good. There are nice options for both nations to receive for contemporary Rank 6 premiums, the Mi-35P for Russia, which is essentially an Mi-24P able to fire the Attacker missiles, and America will probably get the AH-1W Super Cobra, although if you saw my last video on the Lynx, you may remember that I asked for that helicopter in the tech tree, and I hope for something like an AH-1J or AH-1S as the Rank 6 premium. I do hope though that Britain gets something else for their Rank 7, as every other nation will have a helicopter to fit there, perhaps an AH-9A Battlefield Lynx. However, guys, if you're dreading seeing these things in your tanks, remember the AH-1Z Viper is still superior, and we already have extremely potent SAM systems in place to deal with these new threats. This isn't power creep. Not yet at least. so well done to Gaijin for that. Anyway lads, that is going to be it for this video on the Eurocopter EC665 Tiger variant coming to War Thunder in update 1.91. I hope you have enjoyed, and that if you did, you leave a like, subscribe and hit that bell icon, join the 360 squad, and let me know your thoughts on the addition of these machines down below. Which are you most excited for, and why? Come follow me on Twitter and Twitch, join the Discord server, and check out Patreon or hit the join button here on YouTube if you wish to support the channel further. You can also support me by visiting our new merch store, links are in the video description, and new stock will be coming very soon. Thank you lads all so much for watching, have a lovely good day, and as always please remember, keep your bagpipes to hand, keep your kilt on, and I shall see you next video. I say a wee thank you to these lads for supporting me on Patreon. Captain Fubar, DA261, Gisli Gadarsson, and Dark Recon. You lads are bra. If you wish to join them, come check out the link in the description below.